Lagging. Lagging.
No one beats cheese gum trigger. No. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is LagginOut, and we are here with the original PSP, Scott Patterson. Finally got him after a year. Really hard to get a hold of, right?
Yeah, I can be. I definitely can be.
Very difficult.
But we found each other here at South by Southwest.
Exactly. So, how did you get into gaming?
Well, I mean, I was.
Go right into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a little kid. This was the peak of the arcade era, and you know, I was a little kid, raising hell in the laundromat. My mom was trying to wash her clothes, and she said, "Go sit down." She set me next to this big yellow box. It was a Pac-Man machine.
Nice.
So I looked at it, and I realized that this was the original.
Okay.
And I realized that this was a game I could play. And I asked for a quarter, and she gave me one, and pretty much that started everything that followed.
This is like, I'm so glad that gaming's actually expanded to you can actually play it at home now and actually have that convenience. And the argument is actually it's making people more secluded. But what's your opinion on that?
I think it's the complete opposite. I mean, you have more abilities now to play games with a wider range of people. I mean, back then, it was cool to go to an arcade and you'd go play and you could meet new people in the arcade and all that. Right. What we have now is that on such a larger scale. I mean, when people talk about it makes these kids or makes these people to play these games, socially this or that, I don't understand it. You put on a headset and console or PC or whatever, and you can instantly connect with people all over the world.
Right.
You can make new friends. I know people that have met their spouses through things like World of Warcraft. Right. People that have made good friends through Call of Duty or Minecraft, that sort of thing.
My partner, this is the first time we've actually met, and we've actually known each other for 7 years. So we.
Oh wait, he's gonna pop up now.
He's gonna pop up.
I'm hiding because we only have 2 microphones, and then it looks really weird when we're all like right next to each other. But that's actually, I was listening to you talk about meeting people from around the world. That's how we met 10 years ago, and this is the first time at this event that we've actually ever even been in the same room together. Believe it or not.
Awesome.
So just to demonstrate what you were talking about, we are literally an example.
You met through this. It's not a case of you going into some deep, dark room and just being cut off from the world.
Exactly.
You're actually meeting new people. Maybe it's not your traditional kind of thing, but you're still meeting people through that.
Right.
But then there's events like this out all the time, all over the place. The people can come together and their common bond is their love of video game culture.
Now, do you feel is it actually a culture or a subculture at this point?
I think it's very much a culture. I think it's very much a culture because video gaming, it is this the whole discussion topic we had today. Video gaming is pop culture. Pop culture is something in arts and entertainment that influences the world outside of it. I mean, people know that happens with music or film. A quotable in a film makes it into the common vernacular.
Right.
Somebody wears a cool jacket on a music video, and people want to go have that jacket. Well, video games have that same effect. And unfortunately, I think the problem is that it is treated like a subculture by some people. And some people in the mainstream, sometimes even some people that are within video gaming, where they want to try to put these weak definitions on what qualifies a real gamer, or what qualifies this, or what you have to play, or whatever. I don't care if you're playing, the hardest of the hardcore stuff on your PC, or you're playing Flappy Bird. It's all video gaming. It's all video game culture. We have more devices than ever to play it, and it defines pop culture and just culture in general around it.
Don't realize that people get put into this little narrow area, and people like you and me are trying to get the info out more. Well, yeah, I go to the gym. Yeah, I eat well. Yeah, I'm into nutrition.
Well, I've got a wife and 2 kids.
Right.
I mean,
now you're a virgin, right?
Yeah, I mean,
gamer's a virgin.
And it's unfortunate. And the thing is, it's not something. It's somewhat going to change organically over time. I mean, Jimmy Fallon just got the Tonight Show.
Right.
Him and the Roots crew and a bunch of his production staff, they're gamers. They play video games. They enjoy video games. That's great. They're sympathetic towards it. And that now they're in a very powerful position of mainstream media. But, some of it requires a little talk back, too, about saying, okay, that person on the TV news believes we're this. And you can't just ignore it. You need to speak up. You need to talk about what that is. You need to make sure that we're heard and understood for what we really are.
Well, I was going to say, it's like the old adage that people oftentimes will say, games are for kids.
Oh, absolutely.
And I personally don't subscribe to that. I've worked personally on educational games for kids. There are games that are for kids. There are games that are for adults.
Well, the thing is,
to me, it's no different than playing Monopoly. I'm an only child who grew up with board games. I don't know, were you a board game player?
Yeah, I played board games when I was a kid. Yeah.
To me, it's just video games are a natural extension of that.
Well, not just that, but yeah, I mean, the demographics are there. It drives me crazy because if you're going to go on TV and claim to do these things, you can't spend 2 seconds looking up the demographics. The average age of a video gamer has been over 30 for a long time now.
Yes.
And yet it's like it's a mysterious thing to them where your Grand Theft Auto comes out and they freak out because they're like, oh, they're putting out this thing for kids and blah, 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 and all this violent stuff. But I don't see them freaking out when there's a Breaking Bad marathon. Exactly. I mean, the rating system, it's clear, it's there, it's effective. And, there's nothing wrong with the game. It's not the industry's fault if a 5-year-old's playing Grand Theft Auto. Right. It's the caregiver, the parents. It's their responsibility.
And how old are your kids?
8 and 4.
Yeah, so there's no way on this planet that those kids would ever probably play Grand Theft Auto.
No.
Or let alone watch you play Grand
No,
Theft Auto.
absolutely not. I play Grand Theft Auto 5 when they're either not at home, like they're out with mom, or they're at grandparents or whatever, or they're asleep. They don't watch me play it. They certainly don't play it themselves because it's not their game. It's mine. And the thing is, they understand that. They don't even try. They don't ask. They understand because we've tried to teach them what is and isn't. We use the word inappropriate. We don't sit there and say this is bad or we sit there and it's like this is not appropriate for you. And the thing is, that might change. It doesn't mean that we're not going to let them do that sort of thing until they're 18 either. I might feel my oldest is mature enough at 15 to maybe watch something like that. I watched Die Hard when I was 11, 12 years old, and because my parents felt that I was mature enough to be able to handle that and not go to school and say yippee-ki-yay,
Right.
You cut me off, I like that. But I mean that's the whole point with that. I'm trying to do my job as a parent. Right. Just like I would with film, just like I would with music, just like I would with anything.
Now, do you perceive, like, in a way, like how we were talking about GTA and kids playing and stuff, proverbially speaking, I guess you could even say a lot of the adult games when you're a responsible parent these days, I'm out of hard drive space. No.
No, you just bumped the thing.
That's okay. Little lagging out technical difficulty.
Just the name lagging out.
You're caught on the thing here. So you'll fix it with a patch.
I guess you could proverbially say like a lot of the rated M games would be the equivalent of maybe the Playboy magazines of our youth.
Well, it depends on the game. To me, something like Call of Duty really there might be certain moments, but
right.
It's not exactly the super ugly, gory thing. Whereas something like Grand Theft Auto, right. Clearly you got nudity, you get the strip club in Grand Theft Auto 5, and you've got some pretty shocking stuff in there that even the torture scene, which I think was a lot tamer than what it was played up to be, but it is still a torture scene.
I thought it was a good homage to Michael Madsen's scene in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, but I don't want my kids seeing. And I was the kid that I guess you could say fit the profile growing up. I was bullied. I liked violent movies. I watched professional wrestling, and wore the all black, and I was a loner. And I was depressed a lot, as a kid that's bullied that age was. Right. We had guns in the house. My dad was a hunter. He had a loaded .45 under his mattress that was this feet from my room and all that sort of thing. I never thought I'm going to take this and go to school and shoot up all these mean people.
Right.
All right? I never thought about that because they taught me you don't do that.
Right.
No matter what I saw on a movie, no matter what I saw in a game, no matter what I saw in a comic book, they taught me that's not what you go do.
Right.
And so I never even thought about going to do something like that.
The argument is that the video games are looking too realistic and people are not smart enough to differentiate between a violent video game, quote-unquote violent, and
that person has some other mental issues.
Exactly.
And no matter how realistic they end up looking, no matter how realistic they end up sounding,
it's still fantasy.
Well, and it's never going to be pitch perfect anyway. I don't care how. I like all these murder simulators, as they sometimes call them. dude, a real gun doesn't act like that. You don't got the recoil, the wind, all that sort of stuff. But I mean, that's what it is. Anyone that can't differentiate the difference between fantasy and reality, shoot, that's the factor there. They could also screw up. There've been people that think TV shows are real.
Well, see,
There's been people that think.
Yeah, it does us this too. We actually, one of our first stories on our shows was that violent.
Not violent video.
And it was Sandy Hook. I think we were talking about Sandy
Yeah,
Hook.
I think that's what was happening.
And the issue is, like you said, the parents, but more specifically, they're using the video game as a babysitter.
Absolutely.
And there's a double entendre. There's two people working now, and they're like, oh, go ahead and play this video game. They'll go ahead and buying it for them. They have no idea what the M means.
And so, of course, that's going to influence a child when that child doesn't have a parental influence.
Right, and it desensitizes them at an earlier age.
And it's just, and it's unfortunate like that. And it's clear to me that's something else that doesn't get put out there. I'm like, okay, they act like, oh, a parent doesn't know this or that or whatever. I mean, how is a 12-year-old kid playing Call of Duty at midnight on a Wednesday, screaming these racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic cuss word at the top of their lungs and not getting stopped and why is that game console even in an area of the house where they can do that? I mean, there's so many things wrong with that, but yet the parent, for some reason, I don't know if the media is afraid of offending parents. Do they figure that's their key demo? Or they figure video? I don't know. To me, it's like,
I've said for years, if I caught my kid talking like that, they'd never see their Xbox till they were married.
But I mean, it's just like, but society. I think unfortunately it is a societal thing to a point as well. I mean, McDonald's and Burger King have been around for generations, and they used to cook in like lard and stuff, but nowadays it's their fault if someone's fat.
Right.
But I mean, that's the thing. We live in a society. I mean, now even unfortunately. When I was a kid and I got bad grades, my parents came down on me. Nowadays, a kid gets bad grades, and those kids go after the parents go blame the teacher.
I've been saying
and it's
that
like,
for a long time. And everybody gets a trophy just for trying.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm sorry. Life does not give you a participant ribbon, and believe me, life keeps score.
Yes, definitely. You should put that on a T-shirt. Life is score. That'd be a great T-shirt. That'll be your next T-shirt.
Well, that's what it is. Well, we got to protect the kids' feelings. I'm sorry. The real world. It's gonna chew you up, spit you out, and you can't. They don't have to sit around. You don't have time to sit around and get hurt over.
I always said I was in organized sports as a kid, and we lost 10, 11 years in a row. But I learned how to lose when we started winning. You win with grace. And
that's something else. Life these days too. There's people that when they do win, they don't know how.
Yeah.
Or they celebrate mediocrity. We could go on all day about that sort of thing.
I mean,
they celebrate their small accomplishments.
I mean, you celebrate mediocrity all the time being a Dallas Cowboy fan. I like to tease you about that, but you can tease me about my Giants all day long. So we did bad, but an example.
I'm a Bengals fan, so I got nothing.
He's gonna cut out on this one.
Yeah, there we go. When a guy makes a tackle, he comes out and he's like doing a little strut. I'm like, that's your job. You're getting paid for that.
I'm like, down by 13 points.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I'll agree with you there. I like the ones that's like, they're celebrating a tackle, but it's like, well, you're losing by 3 touchdowns. So, but I mean, it depends on the moment though, too.
He's celebrating the fact that he might get a contract renewal because of that tackle.
Sometimes. Well, it's become a business. Exactly. But we could go on about that one all day.
47% of gamers are women. Do you see that number actually surpassing men in the next 3 to 5 years?
Hard to say. I mean, to me, it's always been fairly equal though. But I mean, to me, it's like I think that's more of a sure sign. It might, because the last time I checked, I think there's actually more women in the world, or more women in the U.S. than there are men.
There are in the world.
And to me, it's a more of a greater sign of just how universal video gaming has become. Where it's not something that only a handful of people, that everyone plays a video game of some kind. So to me, you're going to see that number line up more with just the general population numbers as it is.
Right.
Because that's what video gaming has become.
Right, exactly. And you see a lot of actually pro gamers now. Huge group, international group, Fragdolls. They're huge. And
they're good.
And they're awesome. Yeah, I've actually talked to
against good one.
Yeah. PMS Clan's really good too. And
against them too. Yeah, they're good too.
We actually have a 500 record against them. It's 50-50 when we play them in a clan war. But open challenge in PMS Clan. I see a lot of people I know, personal life, I found my girlfriend on Xbox Live. How do you see that actually influencing people getting married and like
Well,
you think it's gonna happen more often? You think it's gonna like level out? Or you
Well,
think it's gonna be
no, I think it might. I mean, I do a lot of features on gamers and people in gaming, and I do a lot of features on women gamers, and there's actually, I want to say 3 or 4 times where they've met and they became a couple.
Right.
They met sometimes across a great distance.
Right.
I actually know 2 couples that one met her husband literally. They fell in love on EverQuest.
Yeah, I mean, there was the Halo wedding those a few years ago, that sort of thing. Because I mean, you're bringing people that have a common interest and a common love together. So maybe if that scene was done today, maybe video games are to the now. I don't know what you call this decade. It doesn't fit in. Is it really the teens? I don't know. I still haven't figured out what you call last decade, or the millennium. I don't know.
The triple goose egg.
But anyway, to what restaurants were in the 80s, or like sports bars. Right. I mean, there's, it's commonplace. There's couples that have met at sports bars. There's couples that meet at sporting events. There's couples that meet in any number of settings because they have a common interest. Video games are just one of those common interests.
I think we're good. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Patterson, for showing up here. Scott Patterson, the original PSP on Twitter. Be sure to go follow him, send him a tweet.
Yeah.
PatrickScottPatterson.com.
Absolutely. Just recently relaunched the site, and it's all pretty and functional now. So Twitter at original PSP. I love interacting with gamers. The thing that to keep in mind with what I do, and some people get it, some people don't, is I put on blue sunglasses and I go places. I get in front of a microphone or get in front of a camera. I'm not just speaking for me. This is not a me show. This is not just for me. I am using the opportunity, this platform that I have, to talk video gaming in the press, in the mainstream, on film, to not just speak my mind, but to speak for every other gamer who takes the time out to talk to me, to interact with me. I see it as a responsibility to not just be my voice, but to be theirs and represent what they think and their thoughts and their feelings and their concerns and their triumphs and their stories. The voice of the voiceless. Because they don't feel like they have a voice in mainstream media, and I like to try to be that voice. So interact with me, talk to me, email me, go to my website, see what's going on there. Find me on social media, find me an event. I love to interact. I want to hear what all of you have to say, what your topics, your thoughts and feelings are, so I can speak to that when I have opportunities to do an event like South by Southwest or to come on a show like this right here.
One more thing. Can you just say hi to Quicksilver for us? Because she loves you. She's a member of our club.
Hi, Quicksilver, for us. No, I appreciate the support of anybody. I mean, that's what it is.
She just loves them. She loves them.
I love doing this.
One of our
I love doing this, and I don't know what to do with that. I can't wrap my head around that. I just basically thank you for that, and you keep supporting. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and it's all fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on our little show.
Thank you very much for being here. We
no
really
problem, man.
It. Pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Hope we'll see you at another event. Something like that. The original PSP at Twitter, folks.
Check us out.
Like, follow, subscribe. This is Lagging Out. I'm Funny Guy. That's Chieftain.
See you
the
later.
Original PSP. See you later.
Lagging out.